Hello guys, UnoPro back here with another live duelist video. Today I'm going to be playing a Vetruvian deck made by Grinch. Now if you somehow follow duelist and you don't know who Grinch is, he's a very popular streamer, content creator, caster, and a top S-rank player as well. So if you haven't seen him, definitely check out his stream, all that good stuff. So today we're going to be using his list, and it's kind of hard to define this list. It's not a true control deck, it's not a true aggro deck, it's not a true mid-range deck, and it's not sabotage pet. So, you know, there's a lot of lists like this, and we don't really have great definitions in the game, but it's basically a mid-range deck. If you can't see this, I will probably try and link the deck in the description, but you can find it in the Team Wars deck lists, which if you're looking for lists in general is a great place to start. We'll just go over some of the choices that are, you know, a little bit more unique. We're seeing 3 Jaxi runs, so passing on those ethereal obelisks, which I kind of agree with. Jaxi is always good, especially later on in the game compared to other 2-drops, whereas ethereal obelisks can get a little bit clunky, and you know, sometimes you don't want too many obelisks. Dune casters, healing mystics, all pretty standard. Rushard's curse standard. 3 Sojourners definitely shows that this deck is a little bit more late game than other Vetruvian lists. It's really nice to have that draw engine, and make sure you can keep up with the late game. This deck can really switch gears really well. And you can go from being, you know, the control deck to quickly bursting your opponent down for 15 damage sometimes, and that's the power of that Bloodborne spell. These obelisks, all this synergy, lots of cheap damage that can really come out of nowhere. And just late game, we're actually running 3 Dominate Wheels. I may change this number up. You know, I've been playing this deck a bit, definitely not a master like Grinch, and there's probably a few changes I want to make personally. But you know, we're just going to be running his list for now because, you know, it's a very strong list. He's run it before. So we're going to, you know, just do that for now. One Star's Fury is a little bit weird, but you know, definitely a good safe hold against aggro. Can come back and can be a pretty decent finisher as well. So we will get into game, and we're versing another Vetruvian. Interesting matchup. I think we're pretty good against the aggro vet, though sometimes, you know, aggro vet can just be aggro vet. Alright, let's get into some mulligan decisions. Lightbender's pretty good in general against vet, especially if they're running obelisks. Don't think I want Star's Fury, it's a bit too situational, a bit too high mana cost. Don't think I want Saber Spine. There's nothing that they're going to play turn 2 that I need to kill, apart from something like a Pyromancer, which is pretty unlikely. Could be good if they play Jaxi, but, well, maybe this matchup is super tempo based if it's aggro, so maybe we want to get rid of Sojourner. No, I want something proactive. I want 2 proactive minions in my hand, so I need these 2, I think. Okay, so we get the Tiger back. Rushard's isn't much better, but probably a better job than Tiger most part against Vetruvian. Hacker Titan is my opponent. Don't think I've versed him before. But you know, we'll be diamond range. Still early in the month, so probably around an S rank or diamond player normally. Okay, Primus Fist. I doubt that there's pretty much no way I'm ever tigering this. So the main things that I'm, you know, mulling over at the moment are: do I want to play the Fireblaze Obelisk here and move up to do it, or just go forward and move here? I think I prefer going on to here. I don't need to try and ramp into 5 mana at all. It's not really possible. And I want to play around Second Wish. I don't want Second Wish to hit me, because that could get pretty awkward pretty fast. I could play it here. I still see a lot of people playing obelisks up here, but I don't really think it's that good or necessary. I think I like it up there. Maybe we can play it up there. What do we want to replace? Rushard definitely seems a bit better than Tiger now that we have this. Let's try that. Because next time we can go this and this. Something like that. I think I'm going to move up here and just play the obelisk here. Well, I can block general to general if I play it up here, so I'm going to do it up here. because next turn if he comes to the center, then I can block general to general. Otherwise I'm relying on a minion, which is, you know, early on in the game. I never really like to make plays that rely on a minion living a turn, and I think that's a pretty good general rule of thumb. Obviously, you know, sometimes you need that to happen and you play around it, but in general I don't think relying on minions living a turn is very good. Okay. Aha, that dispel. We were in pretty fine shape if that dispel didn't come down. Now things are going to start to get a little bit difficult. A really strong tempo turn. We do have one Hollow Growth Keeper in the deck. I do plan on moving up to 2, or maybe chucking in as in Rui or 2. I think I definitely need to use the mana tile. What card do I want to replace though? I think I have to replace Dunecaster just because it does the least by itself in this hand. Which one do I want to play where? Well, if I place a Sojourner here, not worth attacking here. What's even? Let's just stick it in his face. We're kind of just gonna have to accept that this trade will have to happen. I want the Sojourner to be safer because, you know, stuff like Second Wish. If I played it down here, yeah, it's not really doing anything different except giving him more options. I was thinking some kind of Lightbender stuff, where I might want to play the Sojourner here, so if he Lightbenders it, he can't attack my general without silencing his own thing, but I just don't think that's likely enough to, you know, warrant playing around. That's the kind of thing that, especially after you've seen a Siphon Energy, people don't normally run both. But it is just the kind of thing that you play around, you know, if nothing else really matters at like whatsoever. So we will get a decent Lightbender off here. Really nice to hit that Dilatus. But our play after that is not amazing. I don't think we want 2 Second Wishes. We're definitely not in a position to abuse that. Not a terrible draw. Okay, I think we definitely need to draw first. And a lot of the time, if I know I'm going to be drawing with Sojourner no matter what, I won't replace first. But, you know, we're never going to keep 2 Second Wishes. So unfortunately we do have to silence our own Sojourner, or do we? Well, it means we can't kill it this turn. This way it'll go down to 4 health, we can just Bloodborne spell and kill it. I think we have to do that. I don't think the 1 card is what's our real problem here. We're just getting tempoed out a bit too hard. I think we're going to have to give up the card. We can play it here, but then what are we doing for the rest of the turn? Yeah, we're going to, I think we have to take the tempo loss. Oh, not the tempo loss, sorry, the value loss, and play for tempo. Does my general position matter at all? Not particularly, but let's just move here. Sometimes just that small little distance can make, you know, stuff with the Bloodborne spell a little bit more awkward. You know, central positioning is always nice. Nothing really to talk about there. Okay, so our hand has been pretty awkward this whole game. We still don't fully know what type of vet he is. He might be playing Zenrui combo, he might not be. I don't think he is an aggro vet. Though sometimes you kind of just see these aggro vets that, you know, curve out at double 4-drop. I have seen the Scientist list he posted on his Imager running both of these 4-drops. So maybe someone's playing that, potentially. It's probably too early to say. Okay, so we're not in a terrible spot here. Is there ever a world I play double second wish here? Well, double second wish plus first wish, that puts it to a 5 and 8, 6, 8. That's pretty good on this board. But I would like to use Rushers to clear this as well, because I don't think I can, take that much damage. Let's get rid of a second wish. We can find another way to deal with it, or we'll have to ignore it. Okay, let's first wish. Okay. Doesn't help us too much this turn. If we can go Rushers, well, we can just do Rushers, second wish, trade in, and then, yeah, kill that. Leaves us at 10 HP. That's not terrible. Since we have Dominate Will, we don't have to worry about Amaya. Let's do that. And we actually have the better board for once in this game, which is pretty nice. No need for me to want to be closer anyway, and no need to let him get free damage. There are chances we can die if we are in range, so I just want to block off. Hopefully he drops a Maya Healer. That's how he can stabilize. He's already used one Dispel, I believe. One Dispel, yeah. And he might use another Dispel on this. So we definitely have a late game hand going on. We're equal on cards, stronger board, but we are definitely low. And 10 HP is definitely pretty threatening against Vetruvian. Okay, Amaya Healer, excellent. Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, I don't know if I want Sojourner anymore. It's probably still too slow, and we already have enough value in our hand. I don't think it's necessary. I'm going to get rid of it. I want the healing just in case, just as stabilization. Okay, so we're definitely doing this. Where do I position my general? Well, should I move this? Play around Dancing Blades, I guess. What do I play around? Well, Dispel plus Rush. Actually, yes. If I keep this here, then I can actually, block off the general with my attack in case he goes Dispel, like double Saber Spine Tiger plus Bloodborne spell. So I want to block attack off from his general, and I'm pretty much just as safe here as anywhere else, if not safer. But if he suddenly went, Dispel, then he can walk forward, double Tiger, Bloodborne spell, and kill me. So I don't think there's any need to take the risk there. And especially Dancing Blades, it's not a card that's in every deck. It's in some decks, occasionally pops up, but it's not a card you absolutely have to play around. It's just kind of a card that's always there. Okay, so Repulsor Beast, obviously unfortunate. Not much you can do about that. Okay, so he's going for an aggressive. Okay, he's trading. Not going too aggressive. We can steal that and then play a Bloodborne spell to kill the 2/2. If we do that, we won't have an answer to another Amaya Healer. I think he would make that play even if he did have one, so that's not really a tell. Would be nice just to have one of our own, I think. Let's get rid of Jax. It affects the board the least here. I really don't want to leave this alive. Bloodborne spell doesn't matter if I'm dominating Will on this. Let's just move this up. Is there ever a world that There's no way I can let him have this. Bloodborne spell up. It's so easy for him to kill me if I don't have a provoke. Even at 10 HP. Yeah. Okay, Bloodborne spell, positioning doesn't matter because we can dominate Will. This spawns here. Oh, you could run. It could be there technically, but I want to move towards my Amaya Healer, so. Okay, so definitely, a very, very dangerous position. There's a lot of ways we can die here, but I don't think we've made too many misplays this game. I think it's been pretty solid. But yeah, definitely not feeling too great here. It might have been a mistake on his part. If he has lethal, he could have missed it potentially if he spawned it there. He might not have lethal then. We're going to hope that means he doesn't have lethal. More than likely he just messed up. Looks like it's lethal here. So probably a Rush-Ar's Curse will kill me. Or a Tiger. Okay, he doesn't have it. Or he's BMing. Not going to get too excited. I feel like I have been BM'd a bit more lately. That will probably be lethal for us. I cannot imagine anyway it's not. Yeah, that's definitely lethal. Alright, pretty good game. I really like those games where our opponent kind of rushes us down early, we're behind on board, and you kind of just grind them out. You take that health disadvantage and, you know, you use that value advantage you've gained and you kind of grind them out, get back on board. And, you know, we did have a nice late game hand with those dominate wheels eventually. Alright, Cassiva. Always a pretty interesting matchup. I know a lot of people don't like versing Cassiva, but I don't actually mind it too much. I tend to feel like when I make mistakes I lose to it, but if I can pressure down effectively, it's a pretty fair game. Okay, I don't really want Rush-Ars. No real artifacts we expect to see. Maybe a Spectral Blade, not worried about that. Dunecaster, I probably keep it less than other people, I imagine. As I say, I don't really like cards that rely on other cards. Obviously you have your Bloodborne spell, but I don't think it's necessary. I think I'm just going to get rid of it, look for a stronger turn 1 play. Sojourner is a turn 1 play, but it's not the strongest. Definitely want something like a Fireblaze Obelisk, or 2 good 2-drops. Alright. So the question here is, do we want 2 Healing Mystics or do we want 2 Sojourners? Cassivas do tend to run a fair bit of Dispel. So if our Sojourner gets dispelled, then we, you know, suddenly we're out of card draw. We probably don't have a problem with that. We have a fair few Dispel targets in the deck. And replacing a Healing Mystic, it's almost like a slight card draw because you're giving up early tempo play for a stronger late game card when you replace it. So the question is, do we just want to play double 2-drop or do we want to play Sojourner regardless? I think we actually want double 2-drop just because we're only going to be able to draw 1 card of Sojourner anyway. It's pretty easy for him to deal with. I actually will replace the Sojourner. I don't really think there's any merit to keeping the whole hand there. It's a bit bland. Okay, so I've seen a couple Cassivas running Grasp of Agony, but he needs Grasp of Agony plus something else to do it, so, and Grasp of Agony is not that common, so I'm just going to deny the middle. And, you know, Grasp of Agony is not that bad a trade, honestly. He's only getting an extra Healing Mystic kill out of it, and a bit of damage. So he might go 3 into 2 here, looks like it will. Maybe just a 4-drop. Yeah, Dilatus, okay. Interesting, interesting. Well, we're not threatened by the 0-10 body. And that's kind of the problem with Dilatus outside of Lionel, is that, you know, the 0-10 body is pretty good at helping you survive, but it's not really a threat by itself, so we can possibly ignore the Dilatus here. You know, one of the plays that immediately jumps to mind is sending Healing Mystic into this, killing with that Journal, moving it up here, and then playing the Primus Shieldmaster out of range of the Dilatus to prevent that trade. He most likely will ping the 2-1 potentially, or play another 4-drop. This is also just really nice to develop, but it's a bit mana inefficient. I think I'll get rid of the Tiger. Okay. Does that really help? No, it doesn't really help mana efficiency wise. I think I will go with that play. Next turn we had the option of not using a Bloodborne spell and going 3-2, which is decent. And there's just really not a lot else going on. This is, you know, the stronger board presence we can do this turn. And if he, goes to spell and a 2-drop, we start to fall really far behind on tempo. We need to pressure our opponent. That's why I'm doing this positioning. I'm not looking to trade here. If he hits me in the face, I don't care too much about my own life title. Obviously, it makes me more vulnerable to Shadow Novas later on, but the goal may be just to pressure down first. Okay, so unfortunately we're not running Zenrui, otherwise that would be so good here. Alright, I think I might need to get rid of Sojourner. I don't like getting rid of Sojourner when I'm a bit low on cards. Jaxie's not that good against Cassiva. Let's get rid of Jaxie. We can just Bloodborne spell, and it's pretty similar strength turn. Do I care about the 3 damage more, or do I care about... Okay, well, if it spawns one of these 3, it's quite good for me, because I can kill the Sojourner pretty easily. And only give him 1 card, because he's at 5. I'm not going to attack my Primal Shield Master. I can play for ball control still. Okay. So hopefully we get a good spawn and we can deny the Sojourner more than 1 draw. Okay, that's one of the worst ones. We will just play this up here. I don't want to get live bended. Let's play this here. And just attack. Not the greatest turn, honestly. This has been a pretty slow start and a pretty strong start for our opponent. Able to curve up pretty nicely. Dialatus on turn 4 is always really annoying. Especially because we don't run Siphon Souls. So we're never really able to out-tempo it because we run Lightbenders instead. But I think in a deck that often tries to win with a value game, Siphon Soul gets a lot worse. So that explains why it's in the deck. If you see a lot of aggro, or you feel like you really need to answer the threats quickly, then you can run Siphon Soul yourself. It's still a very good card, still fine in the deck, but it's just it's a choice. And this is a deck that's so versatile. Like, you can run nearly anything you want in it. You can run stuff like Hexblades, probably Wildfire Ankh if you want. You can run more late game, you can run more early game. Vetruvian is just so versatile, and it's all backed up just because of Xerix having such a strong Bloodborne spell. It really allows it to play so many different play styles. Okay, so it looks like we're playing more of an aggro Cassiva. I mean, it's not really a true aggro deck, but it's definitely more aggressive. I did get like Dark Seeded against one earlier today. Let's get rid of a Tiger, we don't need to. Doesn't do a lot this turn. I mean, unless we want to use it on this. Really should have Bloodborne spell available. Okay. Well, we can just Tiger onto this thing. It's Bloodborne spell though, which is a bit annoying. Is there a world where I just play this and him in the face? It's a possibility. But Dominate Will doesn't really lend to that kind of playstyle. Plus we need to play around Shadow Nova, which is very important. Okay, let's just go with that play. We can at least develop a Sojourner. We'll trade it in. There's not a lot of point. This can go here. Oh, that was probably a mistake. That was just me rushing, to be honest. I shouldn't have played it there. Now Shadow Nova's a bit annoying. Well, actually no, he's only at 6 mana, and it wouldn't have mattered too much. So, yeah, that's just me just not making a mistake by rushing, but thinking I made a mistake because I was rushing. So, don't worry, we haven't stuffed up the game completely yet. But yeah, definitely not a great start. We really need to be putting early pressure. I need stuff like Obelisk, not double, or even Jaxie's early on can be pretty decent. We don't want to be going double Healing Mystic turn 1 against Cassiva, because you just really need pressure in this matchup, and we haven't got it. But I mean, our damage adds up quickly. It's not impossible for us to win this. Ooh, a double Bloodborne spell is... Oh, wait, no, he didn't double Bloodborne spell, did he? Got another Demonic Lure. Okay. Interesting, interesting. Just trying to decide if I want to replace first. There's no plays I need 7 mana for, really. Not a lot. So we'll just... Well... No, we will replace this first. This can be pretty good against Spectral Revenant. Okay, I'm going to play this and then Rush. I think I need to go aggressive. Well, we're going to use it to clear this. We need to clear that. Without a Dispel in our hand, that is a 6 damage HP problem. I should have played that there. Well, that's not a problem though. We can use our Bloodborne spell first instead. So our Bloodborne spell will be the one to trade in. Does cost us a bit of damage. Yeah, that was a mistake. Alright. Our first big mistake has come along. I should have played this up here. That's just me rushing. Alright. Lucy has Shadow Nova. If he has Shadow Nova, we're probably not winning this game. If I'm being honest. It's going to be pretty difficult. But we will try it out. Thankfully, we do get to play Jaxi on a turn where he doesn't have his Bloodborne spell up. He does have a Demonic Law though. Second Dominate Wheel is not too good. If he, doesn't have Shadow Nova, he has Spectral Revenant. That's pretty good for us, but I do imagine he will have a Shadow Nova, and we're probably going to lose. Yep. So that was definitely my fault. I should not have played that there. That was really dumb. Okay, so we're not going to survive another Shadow Nova until we get a Lightbender, so positioning doesn't matter too much. There's no need to let him hit me with his general. We'll just play this here. Actually, let's box him in. So this is really just, we're just waiting for him to... We're just waiting for him to draw a second Shadow Nova if he doesn't already have it. I don't think it would have mattered if I didn't stuff up with the Tiger, but... If he has another Shadow Nova, it probably wouldn't have made too big a difference, but it's definitely a pretty major thing. Pretty dumb on my part. Okay, so he's going to Bloodborne spell that as well. Doesn't really matter. It might just BBM. Okay, so we knew about the other Demonic Law, so it doesn't really matter too much. Okay, so he doesn't have one. He doesn't have another Shadow Nova. Okay, so he's playing around Star's Fury. Pretty heads up from him. And out of range. Do need to give it a Star's Fury. It's going to be... Oh. Dominate Will's a good card, but this is, why you don't really run 3 of them a lot of the time. I was planning on changing them, but didn't have time to test how those changes would go. So... we're stuck with it. Do we just dominate a wheel of 2-3? I don't think so. Like, I would rather just have a different card than steal a 2-3, I think. That is a really awkward situation. Definitely not a great card against Cassiva. Maybe if we can get some cards with Sojourner, we can come back. Yeah. Well, we have something to steal finally. Our Dominate Wheels aren't completely useless. No way he's doing this. You have enough Shadow Creep already, mate. Come on. Settle down. Yeah, well, we can steal this. Do we want to? No. Probably should have drawn cards first. Okay. So if we want to have the Spectral Revenant on this square here. Which is only a problem if I don't have something on this square. If I move, does it guarantee it a bit anyway? No, it doesn't matter because that's the square that's blocking it. It's not getting to that square that's the problem. So we trade. Start moving away. Well, we could have tiger. Can we avoid tiger? No. But we don't want to get hit by his general, so we'll do it here. Okay, so still not looking great for us. Okay, so there's another Spectral Revenant. So Simon's per the tiger. Possibly could have won. That's definitely just me rushing, trying to explain everything on video, and you know, just not playing very well. But I think we put up a decent effort. You know, we gave ourselves a chance to win afterwards, and those dominate wheels got, you know, very clunky. I might change that up. It's definitely a metagame call. It can be very, very good. And you know, if you're versing stuff like Lion, Magma, it gets very, very good. Even Big Abyss. So, you know, just not a great matchup, and not always a great matchup for this deck. Okay, so we do get one more go at Casiva. We'll have a go, see how we go. See if we can do a little bit better. Don't really want any late game at this point. Don't think Amaya is worth relying on. Sometimes you can keep Amaya against certain classes if you already have a good early game. The thing with Abyssian, especially Casiva, is that their answers to your early game stuff like obelisks is different to your answer to Amaya. They won't often dispel Amaya, they'll just teleport it away. Whereas against some classes, you know, they might have to Onyx Bear, Seal Obelisk, and then also use that for the Amaya. So you can't really run them out of the same removal a lot of the time. Hopefully that's making some kind of sense. So we can get the Obelisk going. Did we see any dispels last game? We didn't, I don't think. Let's go to Jaxi. If I'm not playing it, I've decided that I'm going to play this turn. And I don't want Jaxi the turn after, because it'll be one turn till the ability when I play Jaxi, and then when he can, you know, when I can actually kill it off, then the ability will be relevant. So that's why it's very good against Casiva. I don't care about this coming in and trading in, so I'm going to move up here, get control of the center. I could play this here. I could also consider playing it back here, try and play around an Ephemeral Shroud. Well, actually, no, I can't play that around that anyway, so yeah, this is fine. Definitely my favorite position to play it. Don't like playing it here at all. Don't want to give any free damage away. And obviously I can't really afford to play it passively and play it back here. That's just too slow. Casiva doesn't really need to be close to me to further its game plan. That is a pretty good matchup against this Obelisk sometimes. Something like Rushars would be really nice now. Interesting. I don't really like that play from him. We could just dispel this. Doesn't seem great though, because then we lose our Obelisk. It's not that important to dispel this. I guess we can see what else we get. I can go without playing this turn. It's gonna be at 1 HP. That's fine, I think. We can play another one. Really wouldn't mind using the mana tiles. You need to play around. We kind of want to play around him having a light bender as well, which is very hard to do actually. Okay, we're going to make an awkward play in order to do that. We will play our Jaxi out just for tempo. He has a couple targets. He wants to, you know, use his ability so he doesn't have to do anything else. So Jaxi can potentially get a turn as a mini Jax. I really wanted to play around Lightbender there. It's basically just giving up 4 damage to, you know, not risk losing the, like, okay, maybe Lightbend is a mistake, because Cassivas don't tend to run a lot of Lightbender. They still sometimes do, even though it's anti-synergy. Also, just not having them grouped up is pretty good. It probably might have been a mistake, honestly. Well, it also saves us 2 damage, so it's not actually that bad. Okay, well, I played around Lightbender. So I will get rewarded for that. A great spawn on there. Wasn't too many bad ones. We did have Bloodborne spell, but always nice. Let's get rid of Dominate Will. We saw how bad that was last game. Probably want to cash in our Jaxie. Well, I can deal 1 damage to this thing because the way Dispel works, then I don't have to silence it. So that's really nice. So this, actually, I want to do it to this one. That way I can move forward and kill it. Of course, we don't get the 50-50. You know, always should do this first. But, you know, not too... There was basically nothing I was playing over Lightbender. But, you know, I always do preach, get in the habit of always drawing first when you can, when it won't matter. It's just a good habit to have, because it can change your plays, and sometimes people lose games because of it. Reaper of the Nine Moons, such a fun card to play against. So we can... Yeah, you can just Dancing Blades. Maya gets super annoying. I think I will get rid of... Well, Second Wish could be good. Second Wish could be pretty good. Let's get rid of this. Definitely get rid of that card more than most people, but... Hopefully no Maya. We only have 1 in the deck. Yeah, so that would have been pretty unlucky. It has felt recently like that card gets whatever the best card in my deck. I played Lionheart, I think 3 games in a row, got Pandora out and lost me the game. Just a note, moving there. When you're horizontally or vertically across from the general with the Bloodborne spell, it doesn't matter where it's when you're diagonally that's the problem. But I could move then, so always important, get in the habit of understanding Xeric's Bloodborne spell. When you're still and you're diagonal, that's the time that it can block you with no other factors. Okay, so we can Second Wish there. So we're actually outvaluing him pretty hard here, I feel. Don't want 2 Second Wish. It's really nice here, but we don't really need a second. That's a really nice draw, honestly. It means that I can, you know, kind of use my mana and develop a really nice threat. If I want to play Second Wish, which I think I do, because I want to kill the mini jacks, so we will do that. Let's think, where do we want the Fireblaze Obelisk? Well, we are coming up on 7 mana for our opponent. So we'll play it here, so we can walk down here, play around Shadow Nova, use our Bloodborne spell, hit him for 4 damage, always very nice, and doesn't matter, back wall in the corner. Don't know if it actually matters. This is probably just the tiniest bit better. Alright. Much better start. Just having that early pressure with obelisks is so much better. You really want a nice starting hand. Even Jaxie's early. We really need to pressure our opponent. And once we're on board, we have stuff like Second Wish, First Wish, lots of threats that need dispelling that we can kind of overload our opponent. But yeah, Cassiva is all about pressure. Dark Transformation. Okay, that's fine. honestly, Void Pulse is just destroying any chance he has of winning a value game. I feel like my opponent possibly should have been replacing those. Nice spawn here, so we don't have to use that general up here. Definitely running this in. Might do this and run away. Play around Shadow Nova a bit. Can get rid of Primus. This is also quite nice here. Just makes it so only add 3 damage to Shadow Nova if he decides, you know, his only chance of winning is racing. And I'm fine to play Healing Mystic. I don't think I need the value at all. So far ahead on board. So much damage with these obelisks coming out every turn. So Shadow Nova here. That puts him down to 12 with 6 coming in. That will be lethal. Pretty hard. He really needs like double Demonic Law or something. Okay, so there's the Shadow Nova. Well, I don't know why I thought he would do it here, but I think it still might be lethal potentially. I haven't actually counted. Yeah, so 2, 8. Yeah, that's definitely lethal. 3, 6. Yeah, lethal with a bit left over, I believe. Okay, so I feel like this game has, you know, probably been an indicator of how a typical game versus Cassiva goes. Okay, my maths is terrible. Not a little bit left over, exactly lethal. Alright, so that game, yeah, definitely how I think the matchup normally goes. Normally, Cassiva isn't that good at getting the initiative. Stuff like Siphon Soul early can get you the initiative, or, you know, sometimes, even in that game, if I drew more Lightbenders, I could have gone for a value plan there, because he was using stuff like Void Pulse, which I'm not really a fan of in Cassiva. And I was outvaluing on cards pretty hard, so definitely didn't have to pressure him down that game. Ended up being that's you know, how I ended up winning, but I was head in value on board the whole time. And I think, you know, Xerix is so versatile, and that's what makes it so strong, is that you can be playing control all game, you can drop mid-range minions, and then suddenly you have something like a Tiger, you know, Rushar's Curse, Bloodborne Spell, and a Dunecaster, and you've just killed your opponent, and it happens a lot more than you think. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I do plan on playing a lot more of the factions that I have in the past. I've been trying to prepare all these different decks for you. Hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you don't hate me for playing Xerix. And if you want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.